the let's see, the wife of the former treasurer of Subud, California, who's a helper and just an all-around general wonderful lady living in Sacramento, has 3 children.
All girls.
All girls, right. What do you think of what's been going on at the Congress here?
Well, I really am touched because I've seen a couple examples of people really being able to really reach higher and do something that was really right and sweet and just kind of on a level of miracles. And so I'm very heartened that these things are happening now because we need them.
Yeah.
Maybe they happen all the time, I don't know, but I'm more aware of them now.
How did you feel when you got the news that Spivak had passed away?
When I got the news that Spivak had died, I felt very little at the time. But then when we did Lati Hunt for Spivak, the same night we found out about it, I was really surprised to have the feeling that Papa is our brother now. And it's a word I wouldn't have thought of in connection with him. I always thought of him as our father, but he's our big brother now. And I know he's still helping us, but we're more responsible now. We can't get away with little fudging anymore.
Yeah. How do you feel about the progress of Subud now?
This is a crucial time. That's why it's so lovely when people do things right. Some little thing right for the Latihan or for the committee. Some big thing right. It's very crucial. If people are willing to do their best and submit to God right now, that'll turn us in the right direction. And Subud will remain as it should and grow, of course.
Do you have anything that you'd like to say to anyone who might be watching this video later on?
Yes, I hope that the people who are little kids now will find that they become Subud members. And I want them to forgive us our bumbling ways and maybe enjoy some laughs when they see what we struggled through, because I imagine they'll do some things a lot smoother.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much.
Yes, thank you.
See you later.
Is that what this is?
Well,
You could ask me what is Subud?
first just say your name and who you are and where you're from and things like that.
Okay, I'm Sulfiati Harrison. I'm from San Diego.
And do you have any special function or duties or anything like that at the Congress here?
Well, this
Let's
Congress
talk
I'm
about
not in charge of childcare, which is ecstatic and wonderful. And I've been doing my new enterprise, which is Sulfiati's Art Adventures. And so I've been having a great time. I had a batik egg class this afternoon. That was great.
Oh, good.
We had about 15 or 20 people. It was real nice.
I've been asking different people this question.
Yeah.
How did you feel when you got the news that Spivak had passed away?
Shocked and completely unprepared, which is silly. I should have known better. And I felt sort of lonely and like we had a new responsibility that I wasn't sure I was ready to handle. You know, I didn't know if I could really handle this or not. And I missed him like a father. It was like my own father dying, and that was hard for me. So.
How do you feel about the development of Subud right now?
I feel very, very good. I think we should be real optimistic. I think we're going to have I think a new life was surging already. And I think people who have fallen away when they heard that Papa died come back in because they can feel now the weight of responsibility has shifted onto us. And a while ago, maybe a year and a half ago, I was feeling depressed about Subud and about my involvement. And I figured, well, look, you know, you've already put in 20 years, you might as well make it good. if it isn't so hot, you might as well get behind it because it's your life by now.
Yeah.
So, and I think other people have felt that, and now there's going to be even more energy to get it together.
How do you feel about the lobby hunt right now?
In our group, we've had some wonderful testing sessions with people who've never tested before. Things that have just come out of the blue. It's been stronger than ever. But it's funny because some of the older members don't realize this yet and are still in a way sort of falling away because they haven't felt this new spirit yet. I've heard new members telling old members, well, you really should come to Latihan. You know, it's not just a duty, it's a wonderful thing. Help you with your life.
What do we need to do? We need to get the
Stuff
key?
like that.
Well, let's go get the key then. That's what I would try to
Do you have anything that you'd like to say to anybody that might be watching this video?
And then all the kids went.
Yeah, I've been thinking, when the pioneers went across the country in covered wagons and they got stuck in the mud or they came to a hill, you know, everybody had to get out of the wagon and push. And I think it's sort of like that now. We should all really get out and put our shoulder to it and push. It's a little difficult, that's okay.
Yeah. That's neat. Well, thank you very much.
Welcome.
See you later.
Goody, goody, goody. Get my 2 cents in.
Okay. Say who you are and what you're doing here.
Who you are and what are you doing here?
What else do you want us to say, Rachmat?
Okay, this is...
We were misled here by some funny people who told us that...
Go on. Go on.
So said that you're going to have a lot of fun.
That's
huh?
right.
Someone said we're going
In
to have
fact,
a lot
they
of fun.
said
That
all
guy
I had
there.
to do was, you know, stand up and say a few words and everything would go fine. And this all started last year when I was walking through the back of the Congress Hall and somebody said, Martin Almanzan, and caught me by surprise before I was able to prepare myself to say no.
But I said no immediately. It didn't do any good.
And so you're talking about the fact that you're the Congress chairman, right?
Yes, I'm talking about that.
He's trying to make this cohesive so it'll all sound
Fit in.
sensible.
Yeah. But anyway,
Zeke can't even keep a straight face. Or a street face, but a straight face would be better.
This
I
is
think this
cars
has to
going
be terminated
straight.
at this time.
anyway, this is a new regional helper.
Here, this
Interview
guy's
them.
not. Are you a regional helper? Congratulations.
this is a new regional helper.
He figures he can get a hug out of this. Fat chance. I told you I'd stalk you if you ever did that.
No, we're on camera. Come
It's okay. I'm looking for Melissa. Is it Melissa? Melinda? Does anybody know where?
Okay, this was an interview with Martin and Laura Almanzan
Oh, Robert,
from
hello.
Sacramento.
Oh, hi. How
Come
are
to
you?
Sacramento.
Great. How about you?
Pretty good.
I'm glad. That's great. Robert Knill is here. Hey, Sheree. Always say pleasure. I guess you
Look at
just,
this Rockman.
yeah. He's trying to make himself conscious.
You know, he used to do this a long time ago.
Are
Sit
you,
with a
no,
still
just run,
camera.
yeah.
You know, I know that these
No, he
habits
was-
run deep. You know?
He was
It
more
takes years.
subtle. He was much more subtle with the still. He would
Well, I
stand
know
far
he used to
away
have a
so
telescope
that you didn't
lens.
notice
Yeah,
that he
he
was
could
there.
capture you, but now he,
What do you want?
he goes right up
What
to
is
you.
this nonsense about you being a regional helper? What's happened here? What's Subud coming to?
The regional helpers, in conjunction with the national helpers, corralled 6 or 7 unsuspecting Subud members into coming with them, they said, to a quiet place where they could do some testing. And we suddenly found ourselves testing about what it takes to be a regional helper, capacity, ability, willingness. And before you knew it,
Rockman's name came
before you could say Abraham Spivak apparently was selected.
Oh,
Well, you
wonderful.
couldn't have gotten a better man.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
You're regional helper?
Congratulations.
Yeah,
Thank
good
you.
for you. Yeah, congratulations.
Thank you. I really
Congratulations.
look forward to it, and
Yeah, good.
I can tell you we'll really try hard.
Yeah. Better.
Now, are you the only one that was chosen of
There was only one opening at this
one
time,
opening? Okay.
but it feels like a couple more would be a good idea. But I have no idea what will transpire. But as of now, just one.
Great.
Glad to hear it.
Well, this guy here would make a good regional helper.
For what? For who?
Well,
Well, I was
actually,
thinking of the eastern region, New York region.
New York region?
He's going to
Maybe the
ship you
Rocky
up
Mountains.
Rocky Mountains.
You look like a Rocky Mountain type.
He's from there.
Yeah.
The members are spread thin there,
That's right.
Robert, and you could do a lot of traveling.
Should I get a four-wheel drive vehicle?
Well, we'll probably
This
give
is
you a
Robert
horse
Knill
and
Subud Marin.
Rachmat is experimenting again.
Yeah, no film in it, or no, doesn't take film in it.
No, there's no film.
Well, at least he's got the lens cap
he's
on.
faking.
We can put it back on again.
But you notice the way everyone stiffens up and kind of moves back just a little bit,
You know, that's the part that Rockman enjoys.
the immense power of it.
You know what he
all.
used to do though? He used to come back to all the picnics and have all these envelopes
I
and
remember the
sell all
punishment.
all the pictures out. You know?
Well, these
Now he sells
videotapes
the
are for sale
videotapes.
too.
They're probably a little more expensive though.
He's raising money for Shushila Dharma. He's selling each one of these tapes at a price where he can send $10
It was
a
kind of
tape.
usurious.
Well, but he makes you feel guilty and says, look, $10 of that is going to Shushila Dharma.
That's true.
You know.
I met men like that before.
I use car lot.
Used car lots, churches, schools,
Auctioneers,
Salvation Army.
carnivals.
Oh man.
And
That's
who is
Cantrell.
I don't know.
Is that self-focusing? Rachmat?
I don't think it's even running.
I'll let you know.
Robert, let me ask you a couple of questions.
Yes, sir.
How do you feel about the progress of Subud right now?
There is no progress right now.
That's a succinct answer.
At this very moment.
It's all coming though.
Oh, good. Where did you meet him?
Next question, please.
How long have you been in Subud?
Jeez. That's, wow. Can't do it on two hands. I don't know. Quite a while.
I have a serious question for you. How did you feel when you got the news that
You want to
Bappak
help
had
me
passed away?
move tables out of the dining hall?
First of all, I
You want
was
Lighthouse to start at
kind of stunned. And then I got very, very happy for Bappak. And I got very sad for me for a while. Then I got happy again. I know Bappak
going to
is
try to use the big hall.
right where he needs to be right now.
Yeah, I think he's out there helping us myself.
And he is. That'll assure you.
How's the family?
Great. They're getting meaner every day though.
I'm glad you came.
They're wising up to you.
They're getting smart, yeah.
Were you here last night?
No.
Well, thanks for the spiritual advice and the talk.
Yeah, I'm sorry I didn't read. I couldn't. Your cue cards are too small for me to read. I need my glasses on.
Come on, yeah.
Yes?
Do you want me to slate?
First say who you are and where you're from.
Okay, I'm Rubaina, Solat, and I'm from Los Angeles. And here I am, the 4th of July. This is Subud 1987 California Regional Congress. And I just got through teaching a 5-hour craft shop, very successful in hand-painted garments. And we came out with 45 pieces of original art. And we're going to have a fashion show tomorrow. And the other announcement is I'm looking for a Canadian husband so I can move to Vancouver.
Okay. I have a question or two to ask you.
Sure.
How did you feel recently when you got the news that Bappak had passed away?
Well, what I felt was that I sort of had been preparing for it, that I really, I knew he was at that age. But one of the first thoughts I had was that he was the greatest man, or greatest person, I should say, that I've ever known. Not that I travel in a circle of greatest people. And just having that experience of knowing someone that is one of the greatest persons that has ever been on the planet, and truly always gave what he promised. Like he said that he would never lie to us, he never lied to us. And a person that has made a difference in the world for years to come, and who, we don't even know how powerful it is. But those were the thoughts that I had, in that I have been one of the individuals that have had that experience of knowing this particular person and his family. And I don't know, it seems like maybe we're all prepared for it, because when I went to Latihan, people were just very quiet. I'm here at the Congress because I wasn't thinking of coming, but I thought this would be a real special time for us all to be together, especially, you know, after Baba dying. You know.
How do you feel about Subud's development now?
Well, I don't know. I don't know how I feel about it. I think it's, I think it'll be fine. I think that Baba's given us enough, and Subud has been alive enough with him that we'll be fine. There's no problem. We'll be fine. I know a lot of the younger generation, and I'm real proud of them. My hairdresser is Rosie Music, and she's second generation Subud, and I mean, just the kids are, just look at the kids. We're not going to have any problem at all. I mean, the kids are great to be with, and I've learned so much from being around them.
Do you have any message to give to anyone who might be watching this tape?
Just keep doing your Latihan, and don't believe anything anybody says but what Papa said. That's it.
Thank you.
I've always found that works best when I'm talking to people who want to know about Subud. If you're going to quote anybody, just quote Papa, and it seems to work best.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Bye. Happy 4th. Don't forget that we're in America.
You get shy? I don't know if I should do this if you're going to get shy.
Are you doing it right now? Are you filming?
Wouldn't you like to know?
Yeah.
Yeah, I do have a couple of questions to ask you.
Okay, what were you going to ask me?
Well, who are you?
You want my real name?
Yeah.
Renee.
Renee who?
Goff.
This is the famous Renee Goff we've been hearing
The
about?
infamous, as I understand it.
And you live in...
Marin County.
Oh, I've heard of Marin County.
We want it all now. You've heard that?
Yeah, and you all have hot tubs, right?
Right.
And you all get in these hot tubs
We
together,
all
right?
get in and hang in there together, right? No, actually we don't. Not anymore. That's passé. Along with the feathers and the hot oil. That's all
And
passé.
the leather sandals, huh?
Well, leather's in. Different kind of leather.
And you have a husband, right? He's some kind of a famous person.
Not that I know of.
You don't have a husband.
No.
This fellow Isaac.
I have 2 children. Oh, you mean their father?
Oh yes. Right.
Yes. No, we are actually still married. I guess you could say I have a husband.
How do you like your husband? Is he a good guy?
We get on very well together. For the most part. No, he might tell you differently, but you wouldn't believe that.
I'll go and ask him.
That's the best plan.
I have a couple of questions to ask you.
Ask away.
This is kind of a serious question. How did you feel when you got the word that Baba had passed away?
That is a serious question. I felt sad for myself and for my kids. I felt sad for all of us, and I'll miss Papa. And I think about him a lot, and I hear his voice now in Latihan, especially like last night's Latihan. It was almost like he was testing us, and I could hear him saying, go on, when we would pause, or a lull would happen in the Latihan. But I also feel
that his mission couldn't be complete without his departure, because I think his mission depends upon us carrying it forth and taking what he's taught us and taking the Latihan forth. And I think we were all too dependent upon him. And I'm happy for Bapak that he's free of the cares of this world. And can't help but think he must be happy where he is.
You lived in Indonesia for a while, right?
For 2 years.
Yeah. Do you have any experiences with being with Bapak or with the family over there that you'd like to share with us?
Well, at one point I became really ill in Indonesia. I had there's some people making fun of me over there. I had some serious heart palpitations. So I had a heart condition, and it became, kind of more manifest there because of the heat and different things. Anyhow, at one point, my heart was palpitating really badly, and I went to bed. And this was in the evening. This was just after Isaac had left to work at a Nugraha. And I was feeling really alone and really frightened, and my heart was, I could see it pounding, and pounding very erratically. And so the next morning, a friend of mine came over, Salama Dick, and I told her I was really sick. And she called Tootie to ask for Bapa's cardiologist. And Tootie came by that morning, and I actually had an experience where I thought I was dying. I could feel what I consider me leaving my body. And Tootie and Salama were doing Latihan for me. And then it all sort of came back, and I was okay again. And whereas it had been all cold, now it was warm. Anyhow, Tootie later in the day went to ask Bapak for something. I guess she just was telling him that she was going to come and see me. And Bapak stopped and said, "Tell her not to be afraid." And of course that was what was happening for me. A lot of it was fear that was making my heart pound a lot. But anyhow, after that, Baba sent me a Raja. I don't know if people know what Rajas are, but what Baba, apparently, from what I understand, Baba would receive some help for the person's spirit. And possibly for their body too, I don't know. I don't understand it. But what he would do is he would write something on a paper, and it sounds strange, but then you would burn this paper in a glass and you would drink this water over a period of days, replenishing the water if you need to. And I can't really say if the Raja helped me. I certainly improved. But to me what was so touching was that Baba would take the time to do that and to receive from me something and send it to me, and that Tootie would come and be involved also. And Tootie is a great sister. I think of all the family, I feel closest to Tootie. She's just a dear and has a great sense of humor. She can be serious, but she's, full of fun. Anyhow, so that's an experience that you have now.
Okay. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Anything else you would like to add, or any message you want to give to anybody while you're on tape here?
Keep doing your Latihan. That's it.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Can I go?
Yeah. Who are you?
I'm Harlan Gleeson, helper of Los Angeles.
You're a fairly young helper, aren't you?
Well, just since I was so, gifted at receiving the Latihan, I figured it was alright at my age, 16. I really felt one with Bapak when I was 14.
I actually opened this guy.
Oh yeah. Well,
who are you?
I'm Hardwin Cantrell, San Francisco, California.
Yeah. I really.
It's really great.
I think it's necessary that we send a letter to Bapa's wife.
Yeah. Send our condolences.
Yeah. Because she was a real good friend of mine, You know, I did Latihan a couple of times. Yeah, that's right. We did man and lady. Do Latihan together.
And who are you?
Hartwell, Davila.
And are you a Subud helper too?
Yes, I live in LA and I'm a helper. Well, actually, he's lying. It's only me. Because, I don't know, it's just, I guess, because I'm the fourth Gleeson. I guess God decided to gift me with this special gift. I don't know what it is, but one time I was just sitting at the Subud LA Latihan Hall, you know, snack bar. All of a sudden, it erupted in me. I was just doing the Latihan. It's Latihan now. Just walking in the men's Latihan room, and I was in there, man.
You say you have a gift.
Gift?
I think I know what this gift is.
Oh, do you?
It's called the gift of gab.
Gift of gab, yes.
Well, I've heard of that one.
I think that's what they called it. Yeah, Bopop called it that when I had my secret, conference with him back in '73, was it? That's right.
No, actually, it could have been 62.
Oh well, I think that was when I was in my other life. That's why.
That's right.
I think in my other life I was Papa's brother. Yeah. That's why. I think maybe some believe that's why I have this gift. I agree with him all the way.
Me too.
I'd just like to say, Subud 87.
Right on, brother.
87 youth. Rocks.
These were some Subud teenagers. Have a young man. What's your name, young man?
Rachmat.
Rachmat Martin. I've heard of you. And you're from
California.
any particular part of California?
Yeah, somewhere around these hills, Santa Cruz.
Rachmat, how do you feel about the way the Congress is going? Feel things are going okay?
Yeah, generally speaking. I'm disappointed in the weather. I'm disappointed in the food. But we have one of the largest turnouts we've ever had in California. We have too little time to do the work at hand, so it feels a bit, at every step we feel a little constrained to do what needs to be done well. But so far, things are going as smoothly as one could hope for, I think.
Yeah. How did you feel recently when you got the news that Boppak had passed away?
Very interesting. I was in the middle of an intense contract signing with a fellow who knows nothing about Subud, and we were in a period of an hour-and-a-half session of passing 160 pages worth of contract back and forth, and initialing pages and initialing changes, and about in the middle of that, first call came, and I've always wondered where I might be and how I would react if I ever heard about Bopak's passing. But there wasn't even a moment to really step back and reflect. I couldn't really stop what I was doing, so I went on signing the papers, and within 5 minutes I got 2 more phone calls. But like sometimes happens in Latihan, you step aside from what you're doing and you become aware of your emotions, you become aware of what you're saying or what you're singing or whatever. And all of a sudden, there I was, like in Latihan, being separate, watching myself, sitting there, signing, carrying on, receiving these phone calls, pondering the news, and feeling that inner place. And when I felt that inner place, there was Bopak's image saying, yeah, just go on, follow, just keep on following. And I thought, yeah, okay, Bopak, just keep on following. We just got into signing the contracts and went on for another hour. And another call came, and after we just finished, another call came, my fourth, from Ruslan. And I finally had the presence of mind to think of asking a few details, like what time and so on. it was real interesting, and it fit with some other kind of things that occurred to me in the last few months, actually, which was that we have seen the proof of our following the Latihan, which is to say that we have seen that it's possible for us to go on without Bapa's holding our hands anymore. And I never really had any doubt, and I've always been an optimist, but suddenly I feel, you know, the proof is right there before us. We just go on doing what we're doing, and when I heard Bapa's last words about just keep on doing the Latihan, and when he told Laji to tell us all to just live a clean and pure life, and Bapa would always be with us, you know, it just all fit in together, and it felt very light. You know, the last week and a half has been very light, and behind all of that lightness is a smiling face of Bapa. I see it everywhere, and I feel we're a very blessed group of people, and I'm very excited about the future. It feels like we're really going to find out what it's to be pioneers in Subud now, because we're entering into a whole new phase of Subud. You know, 100 years from now, people will look back and watch what happened in the first few years, the first 5 years, first 10 years when Bapa passed. And we're the ones that are going to be making it happen. And I have no doubts that we're going to do it well. So I'm very turned on.
Fantastic. Do you have anything, any messages or anything to give to people who might be watching this tape?
I would just reiterate what Bapa wanted us to hear, which is just keep doing the Latihan, and to never leave the Latihan, and never forget that it's the most wonderful gift that we could ever possibly receive in this world. And if we can really follow it with diligence and sincerity, it'll all turn out all right. You know, our life will come right, we'll find our right spouses, we're going to find our right work, and we're going to be successful. I'm convinced of it.
Good to hear that. Thanks very much. See you later.
Yeah. Bye.
Bye.
Marianne.
Friends. I'm at camp. I've had a great time, except we didn't have any time to play cards, unfortunately. That's what I look forward to. Kids have all had a wonderful time. It's always sad to leave.
First, say who you are.
Oh, I'm Raina Snyder from Santa Cruz.
And formerly of Washington, D.C., or Washington State, right?
Right. I came here from the Pacific Northwest. And all my friends up there, I think about you all the time. This is the big 13-year-old here. This is the 6-year-old, the only girl. Stephen, I'm sorry. Hadith saw you be born.
Everybody's been
Raina, I'd like to ask you a question or two.
Sure.
How did you feel when you got the news that Bapak had passed away?
I felt like, I'm sorry we didn't have a chance to see him one last time, especially for the kids. But on the other hand, I think the Subud youth has finally come into taking care of us. They're going to grow up. A lot of them have grown up now and shown that they're quite responsible to take on what we can't do. So maybe that's why Bapak had a chance to leave.
How do you feel about the future of Subud?
You're asking me all these profound questions. I feel that it's a great, special blessing to be in Subud, and I'm sure that we will continue to inspire ourselves as well as others.
Thank you.
Bye.
See you
Good
later.
Night.
Bye.
I love you.
You too. Here is another Subud person here that we are going to interview.
Mr. Jans.
Jones. Okay, what is your name?
My name is Ruslan Moore Jones.
And you're from?
And I'm from Los Angeles.
And you are a national helper, right?
I am a national helper.
Right. How do you feel the Congress is going here?
I feel it's going well. That we need more Latihan.
Yeah.
But essentially it's going well.
How did you feel when you got the news that Bapak had passed away?
That's difficult for me to describe. We've all lost a very precious person in a certain sense. Of course, we all know he isn't really lost at all. But there's a part of us that mourns that he's gone. I mean, until I feel differently, I will always mourn for Papa and miss him. Yeah, because there's nothing in my entire life, no person that has so greatly influenced the course of my life as this man, Papa Muhammad Sumo Handigwichacha.
You had many opportunities to be with Bapak, I think, right?
I had very, very few opportunities to be with Papa. It was always my circumstance to not have those opportunities. Actually, except in an inward way. And I did enjoy that inward company of his on a number of occasions in my life that are extremely precious to me. But in the outer sense, although I always longed to spend time with him, it was never my lot to be able to do that.
Are any of these experiences you just talked about something that you'd want to share with us?
I don't think that there's time enough to do it justice. Actually, there is a part of me that would like to share this with all of you. I don't think that now is the time.
Yeah. How do you feel about the progress of Subud, how Subud is developing right now?
I feel just fine about the way Subud is developing right now. My immediate experience extends only to this country by and large, because this is the segment of the Subud Brotherhood that I'm most intimately connected with. But as far as the brothers and sisters of Subud in the United States are concerned, I feel that we have reached a point that is sound. And I feel that the message that Almighty God sent with Bapa for us is in safe hands in the brothers and sisters of Subud in this country. Yes, I feel that we will be able to do our part to carry out Bapa's mission with the help of Almighty God.
Ruslan, do you have any messages or anything that you'd like to say to anyone who might be viewing this tape?
Well, I dearly love you all.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
Bye-bye. Tell me who you are, just so we'll have it on record on the tape here.
Shall I start speaking now?
Yeah.
Well, my name is Isaac, and the last name is Goff.
And you're married to?
I am the husband of Renee Goff, and I'm also the father of Samson and David.
Yeah, and you live in?
I do, I live in Marin.
I was talking about that with your wife.
You think people are going to be interested in this, is that what you're saying?
Yeah, Marin has a very interesting reputation for kind of wild living and...
Hot tubs, yeah, we have a lot
yeah.
of hot tubs up there. I have 2 hot tubs. Can I go into detail about that?
Yeah.
No, it's not very interesting. Ask me something more interesting. Ask me something, you know, something I can really say something profound about.
Okay.
Put you on the spot, huh?
How did you feel when Bapak passed away?
Oh, about Bapa's passing, yeah. Well, I felt, in a way, glad that Bapa had finally been released from this world. I think it was real difficult for him here, and I think for him it's a release. I also felt sad because he's not going to be here anymore, and for me that's sad. It's something been taken from my life. And I also felt sad that we weren't able to do better before he left in terms of what he asked us to do. Bapa asked us to help him with his mission here, and it's hard for me to not feel that we didn't really accomplish very much in that regard. And it's hard to see how he wasn't disappointed. So that's pretty sad. But we still, I think, have a chance, and as much as if we can accomplish something now, I think it'll still be okay. And I think that's what we got to look at.
Yeah.
But when someone dies, whether it be Bapa or a relative or a friend, for the person who dies, it's okay, you know. I mean, they move on and pass over. It's sad for the people that are left behind who now have a hole where there used to be something there before.
Yeah. When you were living in Indonesia, you probably had a chance to be close to Bapak. And do you have any stories or any experiences while you were there that you want to share?
Yeah, here's one. The thing is, like, while I was there in Indonesia, over the course of the 2 years, I think it was every Tuesday night at 8 o'clock, we used to meet with Bapa in the big house up in Bapa's living room. And there were about half a dozen people who were part of those meetings, and it had to do with the hotel project. And what it was really was a meeting about the progress of the hotel project. And the first couple of times that we had this meeting, I thought, my God, this is really wonderful. I mean, here I am sitting around, you know, Bapa's living room, you know, having like an intimate talk, you know, with Bapa. And it was, you know. And as time passed, you know, the thing is, there was something about Bapa. He had a preconceived idea as to how long these meetings should last. And after a while, you know, they're supposed to last, I think, until 11 o'clock. And towards the end of the meeting, as time progressed, in terms of the number of meetings, everyone would be looking up surreptitiously at the big ornate grandfather's clock, you know, waiting for it to be over because we'd be sitting there and it would be so boring. So what I'm telling you is that, you know, here we were, you know, fulfilling the average Subud member's dream of being able to sit around with Bapa, you know, and everyone was either falling asleep or kind of looking up at the clock waiting for the time to be over. So, you know, it's just funny, you know, I mean, it's like that.
Was there anything more interesting that happened?
That wasn't interesting. I thought that was really interesting. You see that right away? Well, what else is interesting? You mean like something really profound?
Well, something connected with Bapak, just any kind of little story.
I don't have any really good stories about Bapa, to tell you the truth. Okay. I mean, I think, you know, Bapa was two things. You know, he was just a guy named, you know, Pak Subu, you know. And as a guy, you know, he was just like every other guy, you know, a lot of ways, you know. And then on the other hand, he was Bapa, you know. and they was like dealing with two different people, you know. It's kind of interesting. You never knew exactly which one he was at any given moment, you know. We always see him when he's, in talks and stuff, and then we're dealing with Bappa, you know. But in Chalandak and at home, I mean, a lot of the time you're dealing with, Pak Subud, and it's kind of different. I see that there's a mosquito sucking the blood out of your cheek, and you seem to be ignoring it. That's really amazing to me. I guess that's one of the things about being in the TV business.
Yeah, we go through a lot of suffering to do this kind of work. How do you feel about the future of Subud?
Well, I think that when I look around here, I see a couple of things. This is the California Congress. A couple of things come to mind, The first one is that these California Congresses 5-10 years ago used to be a lot bigger than this in terms of the number of people who were here. The second thing that I think is that when I look around, I see that the average age of the people here is over 40. And that makes me think that Subud has a problem in as much as we got a group of people who are basically getting older and not being replaced with younger people at the same rate that we are either disappearing or dying. And I kind of think that we have to take a look at what we're doing now and decide, is it going to be that we just kind of go along the way we are? Or do we need to kind of get together and say, hey, what do we have to do here? And is there something more we should be doing than we're currently doing? As a group, as an organization, as a bunch of people. Bappa had a mission, and I think it's pretty clear his mission was to bring the Latihan to mankind. He asked us to help him, real clearly. And I don't know that we're doing a very good job of helping him with that, It seemed like we ought to talk about that a bit and see if there's something more we could do on that subject. Yeah. I mean, we're a very diverse group of people and a very individualistic group of people. But somehow just doing your Latihan doesn't seem to be the whole answer. It seems like we need to be a little bit more organized than that. Have a kind of joint and shared goal and a shared understanding of how we're going to achieve that goal. But as you saw today, trying to get any group of Subud people together and get them to agree, even that we need a goal, is near impossible. And if you mention the word plan, they look at you like you're Hitler, like the Gestapo just came in, So, I don't know. It could be that we can't do that, I mean, that's a possibility, that it's just not possible, that the nature of the people who are drawn to Subud is such that we can't do it. It can't be done. And I won't be happy about that, but I'll accept it if that's what it is, I don't think there's anything else I could do. The future of Subud? Two possibilities, I think. One is that it will disappear with us, that Subud will be one of the movements, that the world has seen over the centuries, that flares up and then disappears. Or, second possibility is that it will indeed grow in some way, through some means that it's difficult to identify, and become what Bappa has sometimes described it as being possible to become, which is a very widespread and very influential movement in the history of mankind. Those, I think, are the two possibilities, maybe with one in the middle, that it kind of sputters along in some way or other. That's what I think.
How's your Latihan?
My Latihan's pretty good, It's a lot like my Latihan has been, over a long period of time. And it's probably, could be better and probably could be worse. And the one thing you can say about it is it's my Latihan.
So what would you like to do to help the process along?
Well, actually, that's what brought brought it, that was caused me to raise that question today, Because when I heard that Bapa had died, and I thought, my first thought was, all right, now, we really have to pick up the slack now as an organization, as a group of people. The responsibility for the future of Subud now really rests with us. Because all these years we've kind of relied on Bapa, and now it's up to us. And so I started thinking about what I could do, and the thing is, I could just arbitrarily pick some area, and put my shoulder to it, become a helper again, and talk to applicants, donate monies to Sila Dharma, get involved with the enterprises. There's like a dozen things. I mean, the Subud house, go and clean up the Subud house? What? I mean, what's the plan? I mean, how, it needs some coordination. I mean, so that one person's efforts don't just get lost, Some kind of a program where we can kind of know where we're situated, how we're oriented, and what it is we're trying to achieve, It's like, years ago, if you remember, one time, one of the businesses that I was involved with, Dharma Mercantile, we donated $10,000 to start a Subud school. And what happened was the school ran for one school year, and then disappeared. So that a certain number of kids had a neat experience for that year. The people who were involved with the school, I think, probably had a neat experience for that year. And that was it. It was history. It had no apparent or discernible ongoing impact on the development of Subud. So from my point of view, that was, in a way, kind of a questionable use of the money. It didn't leave a lasting or an identifiable lasting effect. And I don't want to do that again. I would like to have the effort that I make somehow be part of something that's ongoing, It's like going over and cleaning up the Subud house. You go over and you clean up the Subud house. And 2 or 3 weeks later, it's dirty again.
Yeah.
And like,
So I'll go home with them tomorrow.
I don't know, kind of depressing, I mean, it's, what was the point, So that's what I think.
So it sounds like you're not sure of what your role should be in the development of Subud.
I'm not sure what the
coming back up tomorrow?
I mean, there is at the moment, to me, no clarity at all as to what we as a group are trying to do or how we're trying to do it, and therefore I have very little idea how to participate.
What about being the person that provides the plan?
Well, I don't know that I'm capable of doing that, number one. Certainly don't think I'm capable of doing that alone. I'm not sure that it's possible to even to be the person to provide the leadership to get other people together and together in some way outline a program that we could get everyone to adhere to or to, support. I'm not sure that I have the patience for it, actually. I'm not all that patient,
Well, I guess you'll just have to go and clean the Subud house then.
Probably.
Thanks, Isaac.
You bet.
Bye.
Shall I walk away and get a receding shot, or?
Yeah, why don't you do that?
Okay.
Well, just a glimpse of the men's bathroom. Hello.
Hello. Yes, it did.
How have you been enjoying the Congress?
I've been enjoying the Congress.
What is your name and where are you from?
My name is Lucia Rott, and I'm from Subud, Palo Alto.
Have a serious question for you.
Okay.
How did you feel when you got the news that Bapak had passed away?
It was remarkably absent of a feeling of sadness. our family has certainly been talking about the effects of Bapak's death on Subud previous to when he died, and how Subud is going to be after that. And my only feeling is that there's a sense of readiness, that we've all grown collectively enough and learned enough about what the Lottie Hunt is and been able to rely on our own judgment that we're ready.
Yeah. Do you feel positive about the future of Subud?
Well, I feel it's up to us. It could be positive or it could be something that lasts just for our lifetime. But I'm very grateful for the gift.
Okay, thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Let me ask you a question or two.
Go ahead.
First, just tell me who you are and where you're from.
Oh, no.
Hello, Marcella.
Hello. How are you?
Hang on just a second.
Yes.
You're Marcella Monbaron.
Monbaron, yes.
From
San Jose right now.
Okay. How have you been enjoying the Congress?
It's been wonderful. Publications table's wonderful. Lots of sales.
I have a serious question for you.
Yes.
How did you feel when you got the news that Bapak had passed away?
At first I felt light and freedom and happiness. But 3 days later I felt abandonment and a lot of sadness. And it hit me 3 days later more, and I'm still having trouble with that. No, it's better now, really.
After being through the Congress here, how do you feel about the progress or the development of Subud right now?
I feel there's a lot of bonding and uniting taking place, more than there was. It's wonderful to see people coming back who haven't been doing the Lottie Hunt for a while. That's it.
Okay, thanks.
The roving camera blocker Cantrell strikes again. You know what? Most people are still asleep.
Oh. Yeah, I woke everybody up.
That was breakfast bell. This is a typical crowd of people. Actually, not too typical.
I wanted to show you. See?
Beautiful. I'll read what it says. Subud, California, 1987 Congress. Dawn of a new era. Wonderful. Definitely, a lot of people are still in bed. This is 7:30 in the morning. I'm surprised I'm even here. And I'm going to go get something to eat. First, just say who you are and where you're from.
I am smiling. Where I'm from, who I am, I'm Raphael Maugain. I currently live in Los Angeles, California.
How have you been enjoying the Congress?
Well, I love the setting. I'm the kind of person that has to do things. And if I don't have anything to do, I get very bored. And I always, my friends pointed out yesterday, Raphael, this is your pattern. The second day of the Congress, you always want to leave. I said, is that true? It's because I don't have anything to do. So I've talked to a lot of people that I haven't seen in a long while and made some new friends, which I make a point of at every Congress, and that's lovely too.
I have a serious question for you.
A serious question. Do I have to be serious now?
How did you feel when you got the news that Bapak had passed away?
When Bapak passed away, I didn't know until I got down to the hall. And I had almost decided not to go because I'd been under so much pressure in my job, and I decided, well, I'll need to sleep. And friends from New Zealand called that were in town, and I went down, and I opened the door, and I saw a sign in front of my face. And my first reaction was, oh! My second reaction was, they're kidding. They're kidding. And my third reaction was one of peace and calm and gratitude that he had passed on to us what he had been given by Almighty God. And then I just let the myriad of feelings just pass through me. I didn't stop anything. I felt very briefly some tears swell up in my eyes, but I knew that I had manufactured that it really didn't come from my inner. That my heart felt that it was necessary to be a little sad. But I didn't actually cry. And I felt, I think as everybody else felt, and it wasn't really a surprise to me, that, and I'm sure people have said this in one form or another, that it's time now. And those words can almost be a cliche. But there seems to be a quiet resolve, you know, with Subud Los Angeles, and Los Angeles is a large group, and of course we're all interested in how people react, and nobody was moaning and groaning and pulling their hair out. And it was all the quality of the Latihan when we did the Salamatans on Monday night when we got the news. Wednesday night and Sunday night was very different than any other quality of Latihan. It was a little bit deeper. It was quieter. The people who usually use a great deal of their time in the Latihan. This is for publication, isn't it? Please forgive me, people, if I'm saying anything, but we all have our observations, right? The quality was more sincere. It wasn't, well, here we go, this is a night. Because with anything, whether it's if you drink coffee every morning for breakfast, it can become habitual, you know, and you forget.
Did a lot of people come that don't normally come
to
the Latihan?
No, no. A lot of people didn't, but more people were there in a concentrated time frame. Because we have 2 Latihans on Mondays and Thursdays. You'll see a certain group that comes on Mondays at 6:30, and then another group that will come at 9. But a lot of people were there all together at the same time.
How do you feel now about the future of Subud?
I feel very hopeful about the future of Subud. I always have felt hopeful about the future of Subud. It will be... People are miraculous, and we all rise to a challenge. And we have been, in one sense, the way it should be. We've been children for a long time. And I think one of the first really dramatic examples that we weren't children was at Nugraha in 1983, I think it was, when Papa was really not feeling very well. And there was an atmosphere that pervaded it. I mean, he wasn't at the Congress sessions during the entire Congress, and we, of course, we're a very talented group of people. We've got an incredible amount of energy. And we're going to go ahead with all this.
Do you have any messages to anyone who might be watching the video later?
Any messages?
Anything you'd like to say?
Not that I can think of. I don't respond to instant questions that well. Usually I'm kind of a private, I'm a fairly private person, even though I appear to be very extroverted. No, this is history. And we're part of the world. We've been given a grace. And it will go on.
Okay.
Okay?
Thank you very much.
Thank you. My pleasure.
See you later.
Okay, bye-bye.
who you are and where you're from.
Okay, I'm Leonard Lewis, and Freda Lewis, my wife, is right to my side here, and we're from Los Angeles.
How have you been enjoying the Congress?
Oh, I've had a nice time. It's been fun.
I've been asking people this question. How did you feel when you got the news that Bapak had passed away?
Well, I felt sad at first. As a matter of fact, really quite sad. But then, actually, the days that followed, I had kind of the sense, wow, Bapak's gone. He's gone to heaven. And it was a nice feeling. And I think he's with us, and I think he's free from a frail body now, and he's able to really help Subud grow. I'm looking at you, not the camera. It's kind of funny.
How do you feel about the future of Subud?
Well, I feel that the future of Subud is assured because I think that it was God's intention that Subud be on Earth in the first place. And now that Bapak's gone, it's our obligation to carry this mission, but I think that God intended for it to be this way, so it's our challenge now.
Do you have any messages or anything you'd like to say to anyone who might be watching this video?
Hi, Mom. No, I don't.
Okay. Now, this is
Freda Lewis, Leonard's wife.
How did you feel when you heard that Bapak had passed away?
Well, I felt a lightness, really. I felt happy for Bapak, and I also felt that it was God's intention for him to go at this time, and of course, I love Bapak, and I feel like we'll always have his essence.
How do you feel about the future of Subud?
Well, I feel that God decided that we could carry on Subud now, and I feel that it's really assured. I feel this, as long as we keep very harmonious, and I feel since Papa has died that there has been a lot of harmony in the brotherhood, and I think that's the first really important step.
Yeah. Do you have any messages for anyone?
No, just God bless everyone, and God bless Papa too.
Okay. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Bye.
You're not a business.
Out of what?
Don't film me while I'm saying this to you. This is commerce going on. I want to buy them.
Would you just say who you are and where you're from?
Oh, I'm Elisa Sunflower. I'm from Chico.
How have you been enjoying the Congress?
Slowly and deliciously.
How did you feel when you got the news that Bapak had passed away?
Every time I've seen Bapak, I always felt in the last few years that it was going to be the last time. So I knew that there really would be a last time sometime. And I guess I was sort of surprised because I didn't feel sad. I felt that it was all okay. He had done his work. He had a job I didn't want to do for anybody, for the world. And if somebody hadn't told me, I wouldn't have noticed, because my Latihan is as strong as it's ever been, stronger. And I think it's time for us to grow up, be on our own. It's okay.
How do you feel about the future of Subud?
Well, I'm kind of pessimistic. It's the same way I feel about the future of all humankind. There's some of us that are dragging down. Some of us are trying to maintain the illusion of maintaining our present level. And yet, there's an optimistic part of me that says we're always getting better. Things are getting better. We're all looking upward and refining ourselves. And hopefully the Latihan has that effect too, of course.
How is your Latihan?
How's my Latihan? I really can't answer that question. How's my Latihan? I don't know. I'm not a disinterested observer.
Okay. Do you have any messages or anything you'd like to pass on to anybody who might be watching this?
Laugh a lot. It's good for you. That's what I do. That and singing. That keeps me from going crazy.
Okay. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you.
Bye.
Bye. That was great.
Hello.
Hello.
This is Victor Waumett, who has just been elected new chairman of Subud, California. So how does it feel?
It feels wonderful. It feels really wonderful.
How do you feel about what you're going to be doing, and have any future plans of?
Right, it's just one foot in front of the other, one step at a time, and the way seems to open up as demands come up. The way to do them is found.
Yeah. You feel happy about this new job, huh?
I feel wonderful about it. It's great.
Right. How did you feel recently when you got the news that Bapak had passed away?
I felt like Subud would start moving now and start growing. That we no longer had Bapak to look to bail us out, and we would just have to go out and make our own mistakes now and make our own successes, always keeping in mind the mission and the guidance that he's given us. How's that? That sounded pretty good.
How do you feel about the future of Subud?
I think it's going to grow it's going to grow very fast over the next few years, I think.
Yeah. Do you have any messages or anything that you would like to say to people watching the video?
Yes, hello, have a good time. Go out and see what you can do that you haven't done before. And stretch yourself to do something within Subud and for Subud. That's all.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Did you still need more?
Yeah.
Where's Rubaina?
We're going to be in the film.
Okay, now the film.
This is the Sika part of the film here.
Okay. Well, y'all gonna do this one? Yeah. God, the purple with that looks so great.
Hey, when I say 3, everybody show your t-shirts.
Okay.
1,
Laura,
2, 3.
When he says 3, we're all gonna turn around.
I said 3.
Oh.
3.
Hey, don't cover up. Don't cover up my shirt. You're covering up my shirt.
Remember, there were 20 more that got away. See?
Yeah, look at that. Look at that shirt. Aren't you awfully close? Wait. Aren't you awfully close, Rocky? Maybe get one more. She can see your shirt. Oh, this one's wonderful. Look at this one.
Come here, Laura.
She must put a coat on.
Look at Angels, especially.
Yeah.
Hers is like real modern art.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like Halima's.
Contemporary
Mine's
art.
a bird. This is
And
a quail.
Halima's too. Both
No, your
of them are
daughter's.
real good.
Laura's. Let's look at Laura's. Come on. Laura did hers herself completely.
And don't forget the little candy bears on the shorts over here.
Yes. Oh, yes.
Little candy
Get the bears.
And she's got hearts on there too.
Isn't that great?
All right. Immortalized on film forever.
Hello.
Hi.
Can you say who you are and where you're from for the camera?
Frederick from Livingston, California.
Kiana Casey, but we're married.
You're married?
Right. Even though we don't have the same last name, you know. I want you to know we're legally here at the Subud camp.
Give us another 10 years and
Have you been enjoying the Congress?
yes, it's been really a good time. Enjoyed it a lot.
I have a question to ask right now. I'll do it one at a time. How did you feel when Bapak passed away?
I felt surprisingly... I felt some sadness, but I felt like that was kind of... I didn't feel like that was me, actually, that much. Mostly I felt like it would be okay. That the Latihan was the Latihan, it wasn't Bapak. So, then lots of other things.
but mostly okay, and also realizing at the same time how much he gave to us. They did give us a lot, and that it was nice for him to be free too. He carried a big burden in a certain way.
Yeah. How about you, Frederick? How did you feel?
I think my first thought was whether he had actually been freed or whether he just gave up on all of us. But I think I shared what Knill felt. We didn't have a really powerful personal connection. I really actually only saw him once in Los Angeles. But I did feel that feeling that that it was an enormous loss, but that the Latihan was larger than that, and that things would carry on, and that all of us would grow up and function fine.
How do you feel about the future of Subud?
I feel really optimistic, and I think the thing that's interesting to me is how calm everything is, and that if it had been a debilitating loss, it seems like there would have been a lot more hysteria, sort of visible grieving. And I think it just seems to me that people are ready and willing to take care of business, so that makes me feel good and very optimistic.
Yeah. Do you have any messages to pass on to anyone who might be watching this video later?
I think I passed on all that I have.
And how about you?
Do you have any messages?
Yeah.
If Patrick Morgan sees this, yes. Hi, Patrick.
Well, he's definitely going to see it.
Oh, great. Well, I'm waiting to see him. Patrick, I'm waiting to see you. It's been too long.
Well, why don't you come up to Seattle and see him up there?
Yeah, we're thinking about that.
Okay.
We're thinking about that.
Well, I hope to see you up there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
In the
Bye-bye.
flesh.
Bye.
Thanks.
There was a portion of
This is Hamilton Brannon.
Oh, I thought that was her extemporaneous.
Where are you from, Harlan?
I'm from Merced, California. Yes, we have 100% of our center here at the California Congress this year.
Oh, really? How many people are in your center?
There are 5. It's a very active group.
Good.
Yeah.
Have you been enjoying the Congress?
Yes, very much so.
Feel things are progressing well?
Yes, Congresses have become rather rational. Yeah, it's an interesting phenomenon.
Huh. How did you feel when you got the news that Bapak had passed away?
Well, Asa Lake, bless her heart, phoned us as soon as she got the news. And my first reaction was really sort of a gulp and a personal sense of loss. And Asa and I chatted on the phone, and then she said, as she hung up, I guess now we'll have the chance to find out whether we can be big people or not. And I said yes and hung up the phone. And then the implications of that hit me, and my next reaction was sort of a brief panic. But then I said, okay, that's a challenge. We'll go with it. Yeah. And basically that was the reaction. This morning when I read the review of his funeral, you know, it got a little tight in the throat for a moment. Yeah, it hits us all.
How do you feel about the future of Subud now?
Oh, I think it's good. Simply because it has to be.
Yeah.
It is for me, it is the only rational piece of my life in a rather irrational world. Yeah. And therefore it simply has to be. And it has to grow. I don't know what that timeline is, but it has to happen.
Do you have any messages or anything you'd like to say to anyone who might be watching this video later?
Oh my. Yeah, just remember that the only thing rational is the Latihan, and the rest of it is sort of irrelevant. You know, whatever you do, do it, and do the Latihan. And it works. That's right.
Thank you very much.
Oh, thank you, Rachmat.
See you later.
Yeah.
I can't describe this one woman. She was there last year, and she's saying,
"Who's this lovely lady here?"
Hi, it's been a long time, yeah. Everybody backs off the minute you come around. I love it. Oh, hello. It's been a long time.
So why don't you just say who you are, just so
My name is Miriam Brannon, and we live in Merced. I'm one of the 100% group that's here, and I've just enjoyed it a lot and noticed a lot of changes in myself and on all the people around me this time.
Yeah.
It's wonderful. The Lottie Hun works.
How did you feel when you heard the news that Bapak had passed away?
I felt very graced when Bapak died. He went home. I think it's wonderful.
Yeah.
And Bapak's around. He's always with us. So probably it was a peak experience in reality for me.
Yeah.
And it's also, I think, I know, has made me stronger. For some reason, I've become stronger since Bapak passed on.
Yeah.
And feel that I know I have to have the courage now to speak. Actually, I'm allowed to open my mouth, so I'm able to talk to you. It's been quieted for a while, and that's unusual for me. And I'm allowed to speak now. And our life just keeps on unfolding. And it unfolds with a lot of children. We will be involved with youth and children. It's mostly ours right now, and our grandchildren.
How do you feel about the future of Subud?
I don't know how I feel about that. I hope that it grows. And I don't know. I can't answer that question. I have no inkling.
Do you have any any messages or anything you'd like to pass on to people who might be watching later?
Do your Lottie Hun diligently. Worship the Father first. And praise God that we do have a Lottie Hun. That's about it.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Bye.
I got my slave labor here.
How much are you paying this person to do this kind of work?
Oh, no, she's not being paid. This is educational.
Now, there's certain things such as child labor laws, you know.
Oh, not anymore.
Look at this poor person.
Not in the new order of things.
Who are you anyway, poor person?
Raina.
Raina?
Hey, this is my pet.
You can't compete with the automobile.
Do you have a minute?
Yes. Well, actually, no, I really don't. But
just say who you are and where you're from.
I'm Luke Fletcher from Santa Cruz.
And are you enjoying the Congress?
Yeah, it's a great Congress.
Having a good time. Lucas, how did you feel when you got the news that Bapak had passed away?
Oh. I couldn't believe it at first. I thought it was some kind of horrible joke, and then I thought maybe it was a mistake. And it still hasn't sunk in. I still don't know what to... I feel really sad today when I think about it. I think maybe I'm starting to feel sad.
Yeah. How do you feel in general about the future of Subud?
As far as I can see, Subud's got no problem. The future's going to be really great. Simply because I've always felt that ever since a long time ago that the real strength of Subud lies in the members, in the international helpers, the national helpers, the regional helpers. I don't think we're going to suffer because of not having Bapak here physically. Yeah. That's not my problem. I just miss him.
Yeah. Do you have any messages or anything you'd like to say to anyone who might be watching?
Up there in the north, in Seattle. Hi guys. We'll see some of the Seattle people this summer at the camp.
Are you coming?
Well, not the Seattle people, the Bellingham people. Iksan and Ruspawati.
Oh, yeah.
Haven't seen you for a while. That's about it.
Okay, thanks.
God bless.
See ya.
Anyhow, he asked me to look up people. But I saw you mean Leanne? And he had just been laying there feeling, oh, Seattle would be a good place.
Yeah.
It's been taken care of.
Yeah,
And he wants
yeah.
him to stop by.
Yeah.
So
Listen,
I've
do you
got-
know anything about the Anugraha thing? Because I have this money, and I thought the drawing for the Anugraha that Khadija is organizing
Oh, the carpet.
Yeah, thing was going to happen this weekend. Could have assumed it was going to be here.
So did I. I've got a card.
See, I don't know anything about it. I don't have a coupon.
One cap.
We're just going to keep track of this. You know, keep track of
Nobody
this.
sends for me.
But I was thinking, people are not quite sure. That's
I've got this hunt, but it's like
you're going to lay in and make a drawing.
We got the spare off. The other one's to go.
10 to 9.
But I have, of course, I long ago, I have checked, but no, I long ago lost
kept getting
all
broke
the
and I'd be in
tickets,
the
right?
middle of doing a job. I wouldn't have
I
anywhere.
never feel
Okay, 91.
$20.
Well, I'm taking part of the gas.
Here he is again.
Buzzing, 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 buzzing.
90? 91. 90, yeah. Just go for 90. Yeah.
Beautiful lady here.
Ah, Miriam Rimkite, and thank you for the compliment.
And where are you from, Miriam?
Marin in California.
And I heard that you just recently become a regional helper, is that right?
Yeah, as of yesterday.
I have noticed that you seem much more spiritual today.
Oh yes, floating away. Notice the halo on the wings. You saw them. I didn't know they were showing.
Have you been enjoying the Congress?
Very much. It's like the Congress this time has a lot more strength,
Yeah.
inner strength.
How did you feel when you got the news that Bapak had passed away?
My first reaction was, oh, thank God he's gone home. And just peace and quiet, and that's it. It's good.
Yeah. How do you feel about the future of Subud?
Great. I can see, even here at the Congress, and I notice talking to a lot of the Subud people, how much inner strength everyone has. They can just keep that. It'd be fantastic.
Do you have any messages or anything that you'd like to pass on to anyone who might be watching?
Yeah, laugh a lot. Laugh and sing and dance a lot.
Do you have anything you'd like to share in terms of any experiences with Bapak or anything about that?
Can't think of anything now. No.
Okay. Well, I don't have any more questions.
Fantastic. I hate questions.
Okay, thanks a lot.
You're welcome.
See you later.
Bye, Rock.
This is Raymond Norton of Subud, Los Angeles. Hello, Raina.
Hi, Rockman.
Hello, Raina.
Hi, Rockman.
How are you enjoying the Congress?
I've really enjoyed it. It's been good to see people I haven't seen for a long time, including the Cantrells. And to be in Northern California, which is something we haven't done for about almost a year and a half. So it feels real good. I like Northern California. The further north, the better.
What's this rumor about you moving to Seattle?
Oh, yes. I was a member of the Seattle workshop yesterday, and we talked about ways to get to Seattle, how everyone should be there. I think that realistically it will probably be another year or two before it's a serious consideration, but then I think it might work, especially after Los Angeles loses its charm.
Raina, how did you feel when you got the news that Bapak had passed away?
Well, it was really awkward the way it came to me because I was in Kentucky and I was at my uncle's house and I was with a lot of relatives, none of whom were in Subud, and Oswald called me there. I was having dinner. It was very unexpected to get a phone call, and he told me that Papa had died, and it was really disorienting and strange. I felt
in a way, like, oh, I've lost a father. But at the same time, I didn't feel extremely sad. I felt like I was surprised. I felt like I had been prepared for it without really realizing that I had been prepared for it. So that's how I felt. I felt like I was sorry not to be able to be with the membership more for the Salamatan. So I'm looking forward to being at the 40th day Salamatan, because that'll be the first one that I've been able to come to.
How do you feel about the future of Subud?
Very positive, especially after this Congress. I feel like any fears that I might have had that Bapak's death would just, you know, be the end of it all. I mean, that's totally out of the question. It's been a great Congress. Everyone has a feeling of the mission of Subud, and it's great to see it and feel it. The only thing that I feel like we need to guard against, maybe, is sort of using Bapak's words as scripture and quoting them endlessly. That's something that I don't think he ever wanted, and that we don't really want. I think it's important that we all listen to Bapak's talks and read his talks, but we don't need to, you know, scripturalize a lot. I think we all have it inside.
Do you have any messages for people who might be watching this video?
Come on down to Los Angeles. Come visit us. It'll be nice to have you, and we'll show you everything that we know about, which isn't a lot. We'll take you on a drive, the freeway.
Can all 1,600 of us come at one time?
1,600? Well, yeah, we can find accommodations, I'm sure. That's nothing, Rockman. Won't even make a dent.
Are you enjoying life?
Yeah, I am. I feel like I have a real direction because I'm studying, and I enjoy what I'm studying. It's landscape architecture, and that I'm really learning a lot. And it's given me exercises in ways that, you know, have been real good for me. So, yeah, I'm enjoying life in general.
Good. Thanks a lot.
You're welcome. See you soon.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Why don't you say who you are and where you're from, so I'll have it on tape here.
Okay, I'm Mashuri Warren from Berkeley, Subud.
And you're married, right?
Yes, married to Elizabeth, last 3 years. About 3 years ago we got married. She got surrounded by Subud people, me being one of them.
How's that going for you? How's married life?
Oh, it's great. And the stage and development of our marriage is such that we're now remodeling the kitchen.
Have you been enjoying the Congress?
Yes. I haven't been appointed to do anything.
That's pretty good.
I like it very much.
That's an achievement, huh?
Yes.
How did you feel when you got the news that Bapak had passed away?
I felt that the time had come, and that I have heard Bapak say for a number of years that it has been very hard for him to stay with us in this world. And I felt joy that he could leave now.
Yeah.
So that's sort of how it was. Elizabeth cried because she was really looking forward to it. She had never met Bapak. So Elizabeth cried.
Yeah. How do you feel now about the future of Subud?
Oh, I think it's neat. We just got to do it ourselves and take responsibility for it. Had an interesting thought about, we have a new regional helper, and there was some testing done, and now Abraham Spivak is our new regional helper. And he is our regional helper. We don't have to wait for Bapak to approve it. So we have to take responsibility ourselves. We got to do it, and we can do it.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Do you have any messages or anything you'd like to pass on to anyone who might be watching?
Just keep on smiling, and if the people get too serious, you got to get your rubber chickens out and go, "What?"
When are you starting?
Who are you?
Halima Felt
From where?
from Venice, California, near LA.
You're one of those California people, huh?
Yes, I am, really, truly.
How have you been enjoying the Congress?
I've been enjoying the Congress, pretty much. Most everything I've been enjoying. We had nice, strong Latihan last night, too.
You're a new member on the MCI
The MCI
network.
accounts, yes.
Yeah. How's that been going for you?
That's been really fantastic. I'm making new friends. It's lots of fun. I do it when I have time. And there's really a lot happening there. I think it's really making a big difference in our communications with each other.
Yeah. How did you feel when you got the news that Bapak had passed away?
I was a little surprised, and then not totally surprised, not really shocked. I was just a little surprised, and then I really felt pretty glad and grateful. And also more and more I keep feeling that really a lot is starting to happen now that wasn't happening. And there seems to be a closeness and a cohesiveness in the Brotherhood that seems to be almost new.
Yeah. How do you feel now about the future of Subud?
I feel really hopeful and very satisfied that we are going to have be a strong presence in the future, actually. I had some doubts more recently, but in the last several months I feel convinced of this and really confident.
Yeah. How's your Latihan?
It's strong, and I feel like it's just what I need, and I feel like it's giving me guidance. And last night I received that I needed to stop smoking, and I've been a cigarette addict for many years now. Let's see. I think 26 years I've been smoking. And I'm really a heavy smoker. And now last night I'm receiving to stop smoking. Actually, one of my sisters, Hasia, who's now since yesterday a new regional helper, just couldn't resist telling me after Latihan that she felt like, she apologized and said, I'm sorry, this is probably out of place, but I feel like you need to stop smoking because it's affecting your health. And we talked a little more about it, and actually it wasn't offensive at all. I was to tell she really cared, and she was really sensing something that I was getting once in a while, but kind of ignoring and suppressing. Anyway, I began to feel this more and more as the evening progressed, and then went in for some testing about how I can do this, because this is actually, I realized, necessary. And I received how I can receive what I need to overcome this drastic addiction, which is actually dragging my health down. And I feel real hopeful about it. I gave my cigarettes away, and so far I haven't gotten hit with a big problem, but I think it'll be all right.
Well, good luck.
Thanks. Bye, Rahman.
Okay, bye, Halima. The young lady here.
Rahman, you're funny.
Okay, say who you are for the camera so we have it on tape.
Halima Rochford.
From?
San Francisco.
Have you been enjoying the Congress, Halima?
Are you doing a video of this and you're going to show it?
Yes.
Yes, thank you.
I have a serious question to ask. How did you feel when you got the news that Bapak had passed away?
How did I feel? Glad for him. Because my opinion is I think he has got to let him go, because he was tired. That's how I feel. So I'm glad. I mean, sad for us, but glad for him. He's in a better place.
How do you feel about the future of Subud?
The future of Subud. I think we'll grow. I think if we follow, we have a lot of stuff that Papa has already sent on tape, on books, and if we keep at it, you know, I don't think the organization will die.
Think it'll work
I mean,
out,
it grew, well, I mean, Christ died and look what happened. I mean, so that started the whole thing, in a sense.
Yeah.
So I don't think that, you know, Subud is going to fold, so to speak. It's very powerful, and therefore I don't think it will.
Do you have any messages or anything you'd like to pass on to anyone watching?
No.
Okay, why don't you introduce that little fellow that's climbing around on the tree there?
This is my son Lambert. He's 8, just.
Hello, Lambert. Have you been having a good time?
Yeah.
So what you been doing?
Doing all sorts of things, you know.
Look at the camera, Lambert.
Yeah. Have you been playing with other kids?
Yeah.
Do you play with boys or girls?
Boys, yeah.
You like playing with boys?
Yeah.
How about girls? You like playing with girls?
Lambert, turn around. He's posing. It's a moving camera, Lambert, but you should face it.
I bet everyone says the same thing, right?
Who are you?
Ariane Laidlaw,
From?
Sacramento, California.
And you are?
You mean what do I do for Subud lately?
Yes. Yeah.
I've been the office manager for our region, which is a corporation, so it needs somebody to do that sort of thing. And I'm going to continue. We have a new committee, and I'm going to continue doing it for a while until we check each other out.
Have you been enjoying the Congress?
You know, oh my God, I can't be honest. I'm so disappointed because you see, I got these raves about the National Congress. So I came to a Congress for the first time with expectations, which is a big mistake. And so I've enjoyed it. I love talking to different people. But I have been disappointed. In fact, I'm enjoying it more this morning, which is the last morning, than I have otherwise. I wish you hadn't asked that question.
How was your lobby hunt?
No drama. In fact, I think I had an anxiety attack in my lobby hunt. This is not a good interview for this reason. I have no wonderful things to say today. Fine as a rule. Something like that.
Ariane, how did you feel when you got the news that Bapak had passed away?
You know, oddly enough, it was not a bad experience. It was, I never have cried, and I doubt that I ever will. I didn't feel that depth of loss or sadness, and the only thing I felt was pity for those who are opened already, but never got to test with Bapak. That's the benefit that many of us received before he died. Because he left his talks, and thank God for videotapes of Bapak, so people will get to see him. And then I was worried about how other people would take it. But quickly reassured, it was amazing to me, people's response that I heard about through MCI and on the phone. There was more of a sort of a strengthening, people thinking, oh well, all right now we have to do it, you know, no more excuses. So rather than it being what I thought it might be, a terribly depressing, scary experience, it wasn't at all for me and from others I've talked to. Is that universal?
Pretty much,
Yeah.
actually. How do you feel about the future of Subud?
Of course I'm hopeful. I mean, I'm hopeful, but I really, boy, you know, growing up takes a long time. And I'm assuming that we'll continue to do it. I'm sure we can do it. And we'll just wait and see. I don't feel burning confidence. Like, I don't expect that the third of mankind will be knocking on our door next week. That's not what I see at all. But I assume that if we keep being in touch with God's guidance with luck, we might hang in there and other people might join us.
Yeah. You're one of the prominent people on the MCI Communications Network.
By that I think you mean I'm one of the greatest addicts and fans. Is that what you meant, really?
Yeah.
Yes, I am.
Do you want to say anything about that?
Well, I look upon it as a new and unique kind of Lottie Hunt experience. I really do. I feel that, especially with our brotherhood, I mean, maybe there are others just like us, but since we're few and far-flung, that is to say we're so all over the place, what better than some form of communication that would put us in touch with each other virtually instantaneously, so that we can talk to someone from New York or Florida or Los Angeles. MCI and electronic mail we were made for each other. I mean, we can even talk to Australia. I just can't hardly stand it. So to get in touch with the commonality of our humanity, MCI is a boon. I think I know some people better in a deeper way that I've never met on MCI. It's you, of all people, one of the initiators of the whole thing, know full well what I mean.
Do you have any messages or anything that you'd like to pass on to anyone who might be watching?
Yeah, I have one message to everybody. I have a deep conviction about us in Subud, which is that each one of us, I think that from Babak, what he tells us, all we have to do for ourselves is just do our Lottie Hunt and let God sort it out. But what we can do from our own will and get something accomplished, I think every one of us has some task which can be very small but extremely useful. So I wish that everyone would pay attention, and when they think of some small, helpful, useful thing to do it. Because if we all do something, then it's easier for us. I just would love to see everybody. It can be picking up coffee cups. I mean, I'm not demanding. But there's some little job that you can do for the Brotherhood that if you can think of it, or if someone mentions one and it appeals to you, that's my message to all of us, is do something, and it doesn't have to be a lot. And if nothing else, it could be give money.
Okay.
Cautiously.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you, Ron.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
This is the last Congress session. We're just arriving. This is going to be the wind-up of the Congress. California 1987 Regional Conference.
Turns out I had a minute after all.
Yeah, why don't you interview her? I'm going to go pound the pavement and get everybody in here so we can get started. Okay.
This is Mifta McNeil. She is the new Vice Chairman of Subud, California.
And this is my rubber chicken.
With her rubber chicken. This is to keep order, right?
In the absence of a gavel.
How do you feel about what's been going on in your new job?
There hasn't been a lot going on in my new job yet. I'm sure that it will get busier from here. But I'm real pleased to have this role.
Mifta, how did you feel when you got the news that Bapak had passed away?
I felt very, very grateful that Baba had been in my life, that I'd had an opportunity to actually personally meet him and do Lottie Hunt with him. And I felt very grateful that his time was finished and that he was able to go. And I thought, I guess we can take it from here. It's like the seal of approval, okay, you know, we're ready to go on. End of phase 1, beginning of phase 2.
So how do you feel about the future of Subud?
The future of Subud? Oh, I don't feel about it. I have great hope that there is a future for Subud. Just as I hope there's a future for the world. And I think the two things are connected. Certainly they are for me. Our kids are the future. And I'm feeling real good about our kids right now, too.
See you later, since you started.
I hope that for all of you
that the Congress has been a good and useful experience for you. It certainly has been for me. This morning we really have lots of things that many of you would like to see accomplished, and I would like to see them accomplished myself. One of the things that the helpers that really would like to see happen, I think would be a good way to end the Congress, is to have a lobby night. In order to do that, we would have to finish here at the latest, but between 10:30 and 10:45. And it's presently 9:30, so you can see we really have very little time to do all those things. You know, and if you don't mind, I'm going to take the opportunity to say something, and that is that, you know, our beloved and most respected Baba said many, wonderful things, and one of the very deep things that he said to me anyway is that you are Subud. And I think that we really need to understand what that means, and it means, that we only get accomplished what you're willing to do, And as I'm not saying this to...
Thank you. I wanted to just take a minute to outline the things that we've thought about that the region should be looking at in the next 2 years. The first thing we're going to do is to confer with our regional helpers about what it is that needs to be done to strengthen their work and to strengthen the Latihan throughout all the centers in the region. Because the focus of our group is always on the Latihan. It's what gives us strength and focus. And that's the most important thing we have to deal with. The second thing that we're going to look at is how those activities that we're doing now that go out, that reach out into the world, our cultural activities, our youth activities, our social and our health and social welfare activities, and our enterprise activities. Those seem to be the four wings that we're looking at now. And we see the regional committee as being a focus for money that comes into the region and goes back out to the region and to the world through these arms that are now reaching out. These are the wings that we have now. These are the ones that we want to support. The third thing we want to do is to take some of the burden off the members. And one thing we'll be looking at how to use the assets of the region in order to generate income for the region. And it'll be the goal of this committee to have the activities of the regional committee be self-supporting by the end of our 2 years, so that none of your donations go towards supporting the work of this committee. We're going to use the assets to make the money to run this committee and to funnel money back out through the wings through our working world. And the final goal that I have at this time, which I'm going to give to you and let you bounce back to me, is that when we stand up here in 2 years, at this point we have an active membership of 640 people. When we stand up here in 2 years, it's the goal of this committee to have an active membership of 1,280 people, or at least double our active membership at this time. That's what we're shooting for. Thank you.
We won't do any of that without each and every one of you. If each one of you bring someone to Subud, we'll double our membership. That easy.
How do kids they count?
Yes, count. Sure. Otherwise, what are we all working for all the time? I feel like we're just warming up for takeoff, and we'll be underway before long. So fasten your seatbelts, it should be exciting. I also would like to thank you for giving me the opportunity to serve in this way. It feels right. Yesterday it seemed to feel right to me too. And see you all, see you here.
See what she has to say about it.
Hello.
Hi, Dad.
That's the home movies.
Who's this guy here?
Should we talk about that big drug party we went to in San Francisco?
This is Morris Weisinger.
Yes.
How have you been?
I don't think my agent's gonna like this. You'd better turn this off.
How have you been enjoying the Congress, Morris?
Well, this is the first time that I've had a chance to enjoy it because I've been taking care of 3 Down syndrome children and 5 other children, and I've had 10 hands full, and they just left the Padilla family. They just left this morning, and so this is the first chance that I've sat in on a Congress meeting, but it was nice. So.
Morris,
why are you zooming in on me?
How did you feel when you got the news that Bapak had passed away?
How did I feel?
Yeah.
Well, how did I feel? I was brushing my teeth, getting ready to go to Latihan, and I thought, well, good thing I'm going to Latihan anyway, because that's what I would want to do anyway. So we went to Latihan, and I had a great Latihan, and that's it.
Okay. Nice to talk to you.
Yes, very nice to talk to you.
The Congress here, there's just one more Latihan and a meal, and it's all over.
How have you felt about the Congress?
Well, it's been a lovely Congress here. Feeling-wise, I can only say that I feel very quiet. I feel like a lot of useful things have been accomplished. I feel like we've got a good committee. And I feel like we have a direction. I feel like, in spite of the fact that Bapa has gone from this world physically, that we have a feeling that in Subud we are left with a feeling of confidence in the Latihan, and we find that we can set some exciting goals for ourselves and still move forward because we have been given this Latihan from Bapa.
How did you feel when you got the news that Bapak had passed away?
Well, I think I've talked about this before on tape.
You did already?
Yeah. But my initial reaction was one of shock. Because I had sort of been sensing Bapa was about to die anyhow. And I had just been sort of trying to reject that notion. But after the initial shock for the first couple of days when I was really in mourning, I now feel very quiet and calm about it.
Okay, good. So I've interviewed you already, huh?
Yes, you have. Yes.
I've done so many of these interviews I can't even remember who I've talked to.
Who you've talked to. Well, I'm sure when you get into the editing process, you'll rediscover this important piece of tape.
Okay. Thanks, and have a good trip back to Los Angeles.
To Los Angeles. You're welcome.
Be here. Say who you are and where you're from.
I'm Hassana Tucker, and I'm from Marin. And this is a nice day, and this is a nice camp, and it's a beautiful place.
And you're the daughter of?
Marcia.
Marcia.
Tucker and David Tucker. And
You've been having a good time here at the Congress?
oh yeah, yeah. Yeah, I'm having a good time.
How did you feel when you heard about Bapak's passing away?
I felt like he probably felt that we're ready to accept it, so that's why he died, and that we could handle it. So it's sad, but I'm sure we can go to a better place.
How old are you?
17.
How old?
17.
17. Are you out of high school yet?
I have 1 more year. I'm a senior.
Okay. Well, thank you for talking to me. See you later.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Lovely young lady here. Say who you are and where you're from for the camera.
I'm Halima Martin, and I'm from Subud, Santa Cruz.
And you haven't been participating in the Congress, or?
Oh yes, I've been here, but I've been driving back home at night, and I got a late start this morning because my daughter was packing for the Subud camp, the kids camp that's following this Congress.
Yeah. I have a question for you. How did you feel when you got the news that Bapak had passed away?
Well, my initial reaction as I was on the phone with somebody from LA was I felt my whole body just sort of go into some kind of a reaction. It was sort of tingly, but it was a feeling of strength as well, and I think that's the feeling that kind of persisted. I felt a new strength with his passing, which was something that surprised me.
Yeah. How do you feel about the future of Subud?
I don't have any fears about it at all. I am totally confident that the future of Subud is assured.
Great. Do you have any messages or anything you'd like to say to anyone who might be watching this tape?
Not really. Just God bless everybody.
Okay. Thank you, Helena. See you later. This is who?
This is Sulfiati Magnuson.
From
Los Angeles.
Have you been enjoying the Congress, Sulfiati?
That's great. It's been the largest Congress that I've attended in years. It's had a feeling of a Bapa visit.
Yeah. How did you feel when you got the news that Bapa had passed away?
I was shocked, but I felt fine. I felt very grateful, and I was reminded of an experience that I had had years ago, where I was taken into a room, and Ibu was there, and Ibu told me that Bapa was dying, and that I was granted permission to go in, and went in. And there was this incredible light and nothing else. And I entered into the light. And the next thing I knew, I was outside. And I had been given a job. And that job was to tell people that even though Bapa was gone as we had known